Hello and welcome to episode 2 of Mowlem's Racing Travels, and we are here finally. We talked about the road to Le Mans and we are here at the Le Mans 24 hours. As you can see behind me, it's only Friday and it's already heaving and packed with people. And this is where we are headed towards with Ivor Dunbar. We're doing the opener on Saturday morning, the opening race, the Road to Le Mans race with the Ferrari GT3. We've had some mixed conditions. At the moment it's sunny, but we've had quite a lot of rain. Sort of intermittent, very unpredictable weather, but Ivor's got quite a few laps under his belt out on the main Circuit de la Sarthe. And we'll also be talking later in the programme about some racing that I've been doing with Bonamy Grimes, who we've also seen earlier in the episode 1, and one of our races that we did at Snetterton, which, as you'll see later in the programme, turned out to be quite eventful.
The Road to Le Mans event is new this year, and Johnny and car owner Ivor Dunbar headed to Radio Le Mans to explain the event. But first, I caught up with the voice of Le Mans, John Hindhaugh.
John, now you're so much a part of this race, but you came here first, just I think, as a disc jockey. Just tell us the story.
Yeah, Andrew, back in 1989, the guys that then were running Radio Le Mans, which was just once a year for a week, needed someone to bring some records and link between the commentators. So I got stuck back out in what's now the tyre paddock, P5. Brought a lot of people will not know what I'm talking about. Bought a whole long case full of vinyl 45s and sat out there and did the links, made sure the ad breaks played on time and that sort of thing. And that was in 1989, and for the last 10 years, Radio Show Limited, the little company that my wife and I put together to ensure the continuation of Radio Le Mans at the circuit, we've been running it from here, and it's grown quite considerably since those days. Everybody that comes and works for us at Radio Show Limited and on Radio Le Mans or any of our other services, they have to be a fan because we represent the fans. We have a responsibility to the fans. We need to ask the questions that the fan would ask.
John, of course, I go back a long way, and if you came here as a fan back in the 1970s, you could only really find out what was going on as a little 5-minute update on the top of the hour, and you really didn't know what was happening in the race. So that's probably why you drank a lot of beer.
Well, our great friend Bob Constantinos, of course, was the voice that did the updates 5 minutes, as you say, every hour. If you happened to be standing next to a PA speaker, you heard it, if there wasn't a very loud Group C car going past your ear at the same time. So from the late 1980s, it was thought that it would be a decent idea to bring a radio station so people could clamp something into their lugs and listen. And it's developed from just 1 week a year to now we have 3 different channels broadcasting 365 days a year, appropriate enough 24 hours a day, of course. I'm delighted to welcome along to the Mobile One Radio Le Mans studio for 2016, Ivor Dunbar. Welcome to Le Mans. Have you got words to describe it yet?
It's impossible to describe it. It's an extraordinary place. The atmosphere is amazing, and it's still only Friday. I can't imagine what it's going to be like tomorrow.
And it's different here because as part of the Road to Le Mans, you've got the LMP3 cars with you this weekend.
Yeah, we have. The speed differential is not as big as I thought here, because actually we're probably quicker on the straights and they're quicker through the corners. So that's not been a major issue. You've got to keep an eye on your mirrors, obviously, but it's not. That hasn't bothered me too much, actually.
The Le Mans GT Cup is a 2-driver, and as is the Road to Le Mans this weekend, a 2-driver event. And you're bringing on a bit of new English talent in the shape of, in fairness, the very experienced Johnny Mowlem. How's that going? How's that relationship going?
No, that helps enormously. I mean, obviously Johnny knows his way around here like the back of his hand, and that means it's a little less intimidating when you're going out there. You at least have a game plan. The track may look different when you're actually hurtling down at 180 miles an hour, but you have a rough idea of first time round what you're expected to do.
So that is it going to be a 1-year programme in the GT3 or a 2? When do you see yourself dragging Johnny, kicking and screaming, as I know he will be, absolutely not, back to the Circuit de la Sarthe here at Le Mans to do the 24 hours?
I think that all depends upon how quickly I progress. So the weakness in the package at the moment is clearly me. The quicker I get up to pace, the quicker we'll be able to contemplate doing that.
I'm here with Sam Hignett, team principal of Jota, to sort of show you that ultimate prize that Ivor and I are working towards, that Road to Le Mans, and ultimately arriving at something at this level. We've worked together over the years quite a few times, and you've got this beautiful Gibson now. Gibson, I keep on wanting to call it Zytec.
Gibson knee Zytec. I think that's the best way to refer to it.
Fantastic setup you got here, Sam. Just talk us a little bit through. I've seen you almost grow since you came over and were team manager for us. Talk us through it a little bit.
Well, we first did Le Mans. Our first journey to Le Mans was in 2005 with the first Zytek. And back then it was a different race to some extent. I think we were a team of about 9 people, and we had a really good run there. Whereas nowadays the race has matured into this big World Championship event. And you'd need a much bigger team, many more people. So over the years, we've gone through the different classes. We've run LMP1 cars, GT cars, but predominantly we've always had the relationship with what was Zytek, what is now Gibson, and that's when we worked together in the States with Corsa Motorsport in 07-08 with the first hybrid car, I think it was, wasn't it? Before Audi and Lights copied us.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we did it quite as well as we could have done, but I think actually we were the first ever international podium for a hybrid car, if I remember rightly, with the LMP1 with myself and Stefan Johansson.
Oh, really? Is that? I remember we made the front page of the New York Times, so that was some sort of achievement. So the race. Every year you do the race, you learn, and there's not a single person in this pit lane who will tell you otherwise. This is our 10th time at Le Mans, and we learn things every day. A little bit, better way to do this, a better way to organise that, better way to house the staff, what staff you need, etc., etc. And as the business grows, the team grows, and so this year we've got the 2 cars, the Gibson and the Oreca over there. And both cars are, at the moment, running very well. The Oreca's on pole for the race. The Gibson's starting down in 12th position at the moment. But it's a long race, and we know the reliability and the strength of the Gibson. The Oreca over there is a new car to us, so it's a slightly different philosophy that we're undertaking. But we'll see what happens during the race.
Race morning, and the FF Corsa team pushed the 488 to the grid. Former City banker, Ivor, is not surprisingly a little nervous.
Well, I'd be remiss of me to say I didn't have a few butterflies going into this, but no, very exciting, very exciting. Can't wait to get in the car. My name is Johnny's going to make a whole host of places at the beginning. I've got to hold on to as many of them as I can.
So a 1-hour race coming up. Fortunately, the rain has held off. Johnny Mowlem will start the event, and then we'll hand over to Ivor Dunbar. The FF team waiting in the pits. There's ace engineer Mark Showman from America. They cross the start-finish line in front of the huge crowd that's already assembled here. There's Johnny, already is alongside one of the LMP3 cars, already pushing hard, trying to make up lots of places so he can hand over the car well up the order to the inexperienced Ivor Dunbar. There he is, tucked up behind the Lamborghini of Marco Attard and Matt Bell as they head up towards the Dunlop curves here on this most famous of sports car racing tracks, and then plunging downhill, quite a difficult bit as they head to Tete Rouge. And Johnny looks as if he's going to make another move, can't make it stick, probably going to do it down into the Tete Rouge corner. Very interesting to see both categories here. Johnny goes past there on the inside, and now he'll head off down the long Mulsanne straight, the 2 chicanes these days. Here he is into the first chicane. The red Ferrari in front, not able to outbrake him there. Will he get the power on coming out of that chicane? And again, heading down towards famous corner at Arnage. In the slipstream now, pulling to the right, but can't quite make it stick, looking out again. And this time on the brakes hard down the inside, takes quite a lot of curve, but makes it stick. And already moving up through the field. Johnny Mowlem, of course, has raced in the main 24 event a number of times at Le Mans, been on the podium in the GT category with a Porsche. He's raced prototypes here as well, knows this circuit so well. And again, using all that skill and experience, and we'll pick another one off, I think, as he heads down there into the Indianapolis corner. Turning left, the bank corner. That's why it's called International. Short run now down into Arnage, the slowest corner in the race. And again, a whole train of cars is going to try and pick a few of those up on this fast straight, which runs down to the Porsche curves and past the Audi R8 there, the British driven car of Nigel Moore. And now tucked up behind an Aston Martin, the TF Sport car. And trying to find a way past the Aston through the very technical Porsche curve section and into the Ford chicane, and about to complete a lap. And indeed he passes the Aston Martin as he heads through the Ford chicane and heads on to lap number 2 of this Road to Le Mans race at, of course, Le Mans. Ivor, watching from the pits, must be impressed with that. The team. And there, Mowlem going down the inside again, trying to outbrake the Aston Martin. He does that beautifully. And now the next car on the list is one of the LMP3s. As I said, Martin Brundle driving with Christian England in the United Motorsports car. There you can see the grid. Ivor gets ready now, puts on the crash helmet with the Scottish flag and comes into the pits. And there is Johnny, stops right on the board. Ivor climbs in. Johnny's job is done for today, and the Ferrari exiting the pits a little quickly.
Did as well as I could. My uppermost in my mind was to bring the car back to Ivor so that he could go out and drive, and we ended up going through the field because people pitted a bit earlier than us. I think we were running 4th or 5th, got up to 4th or 5th from like 32nd, and then were leading when I came in to hand over to Ivor. We had a small problem with the pit stop that delayed him about 10-15 seconds, and then he got out there, he's running around doing a really good job, and hopefully with a big smile on his face. So really good that we've got him here actually driving the track, albeit not in the big 24 yet, but this is the first step.
There is Ivor. Has a little knowledge of the track, having raced a classic car here a few years ago. Team watching his progress, dropping down the order a little bit, being very much a novice, and the checkered flag falls and they make the finish in 15th place in their class. So a good start to their Road to Le Mans.
Well, Johnny did great, and we made lots of space, but I got a drive-through penalty for speeding in the pit lane, which was a bit of a schoolboy error. So that was a bit frustrating, but you know, we finished the race, first ever race at Le Mans. I guess when that all settles down, that frustration of my cock-up will go. So, no, overall, great place, great thing to do. Could have done better. We'll do better next time.